What's up, everybody? I'm back. I'm here to read more of the Dungeons & Dragons Player's Handbook, and today we're going to read the section about gnomes, those lovable little scamps that we love to kill in World of Warcraft. I was a Horde player, go figure. More than that, I was Forsaken. I was an undead warlock in WoW. The Forsaken are my jam, and that ability to cannibalize, I dig it. Gnome. Skinny and flaxen-haired, his skin walnut brown, and his eyes a startling turquoise. Burgle stood half as tall as Aaron and had to climb up on a stool to look out the peephole. Like most habitations in Obel, that particular tenant had been built for humans, and smaller residents cope with the resulting awkwardness as best they could. But at least the relative largeness of the apartment gave Burgle room to pack in all his gnome-sized gear. The front room was his workshop, and it contained a bewildering miscellany of tools, hammers, chisels, saws, lockpicks, tinted lenses, jeweler lopes, and jars of powdered and shredded ingredients for casting spells. A fat gray cat, the mage is familiar, lay curled atop a grimoire. It opened its eyes, gave Aaron a disdain yellow stare, then appeared to go back to sleep. Richard Lee Byers, The Black Bouquet. A constant hum of busy activity pervades the warrens and neighborhoods where gnomes form their close-knit communities. Louder sounds punctuate the hum, a crunch of grinding gears here, a minor explosion there, a yelp of surprise or triumph, and especially bursts of laughter. Gnomes take delight in life, enjoying every moment of invention, exploration, investigation, creation, and play. Vibrant expression. A gnome's energy and enthusiasm for living shines through every inch of his or her tiny body. Gnomes average slightly over 3 feet tall and weigh 40 to 45 pounds. Let's see, let's put that back just a little. There we go. Their tan or brown faces are usually adorned with broad smiles beneath their prodigious noses, and their bright eyes shine with excitement. Their fair hair has a tendency to stick out in every direction, as if expressing the gnome's insatiable interest in everything around. A gnome's personality is writ large in his or her appearance. A male gnome's beard, in contrast to his wild hair, is kept curly trimmed but often styled into curious forks or neat points. A gnome's clothing, though usually made in modest earth tones, is elaborately decorated with embroidery, embossing, or gleamy jewels. Delighted dedication. As far as gnomes are concerned, being alive is a wonderful thing, and they squeeze every ounce of enjoyment out of their 3 to 5 centuries of life. Humans might wonder about getting bored over the course of such a long life, and elves take plenty of time to savor the beauties of the world in their long years. But gnomes seem to worry that even with all that time, they can't get in enough of the things they want to do and see. Gnomes speak as if they can't get the thoughts out of their heads fast enough. Even as they offer ideas and opinions on a range of subjects, they still manage to listen carefully to others, adding the appropriate exclamation of surprise and appreciation along the way. Though gnomes love jokes of all kinds, particularly puns and pranks, they're just as dedicated to the more serious tasks they undertake. Many gnomes are skilled engineers, alchemists, tinkers, and inventors. They're willing to make mistakes and laugh at themselves in the process of perfecting what they do, and taking bold, sometimes foolhardily risks, and dreaming large. Bright burrows. Gnomes make their homes... Actually, this is where it's supposed to be. Gnomes make their homes in hilly woodland lands. They live underground, but get more fresh air than dwarves do, enjoying the natural living world on the surface whenever they can. Their homes are well hidden by both clever construction and simple illusions. Welcome visitors are ushered into bright, warm burrows. Those who are not welcome are unlikely to find the burrows in the first place. Gnomes who settle in human lands are commonly gem cutters, engineers, sages, or tinkerers. Some human families retain gnome tutors, ensuring that their pupils enjoy a mix of serious learning and delighted enjoyment. A gnome might tutor several generations of a single human family over the course of his or her life. Gnome names. I'm not going to read the actual names, but we'll read where the names come from. Where their names come from. Gnomes love names, and most have half a dozen or so. A gnome's mother, father, clan elder, aunts, and uncles each give the gnome a name, and various nicknames from just about everyone else might or might not stick over time. Gnomes' names are typically variants on the names of ancestors or distant relatives, though some are purely new inventions. When dealing with humans and others who are stuffy about names, a gnome learns to use no more than 3 names: a personal name, a clan name, and a nickname, choosing the one in each category that's the most fun to say. Deep gnomes. A third subrace of gnomes, the deep gnomes, are subvurians, live in small communities scattered in the Underdark. Unlike the Dugar and the Drow, Savremblians are as good as their surface cousins. However, their humor and enthusiasm are dampened by their oppressive environments, and their inventive expertise is directed mostly towards stonework. Selling the world. Curious and impulsive, gnomes might take up adventuring as a way to see the world. Oh, I said selling, I meant to say see. Selling the world's what we're living through right now with all the fucking GameStop shit, and hopefully fuck Wall Street. I'm all for those GameStop people, but fuck GameStop too. As lovers of gems and other fine items, some gnomes take to adventuring as quick let me start over. Curious and impulsive, gnomes might take up adventuring as a way to see the world for the love of exploring. As lovers of gems and other fine items, some gnomes take to adventuring as a quick, if dangerous, path to wealth. Regardless of what spurs them to adventure, gnomes who adopt this way of life eke as much enjoyment out of it as they do out of any other activity they undertake, sometimes to great annoyance of their adventuring companions. Let's read the meta stuff. Your gnome character has certain characteristics in common with all other gnomes. Ability score. Your intelligence score increases by 2. Gnomes mature at the same rate humans do, and most are expected to settle down into an adult life by around the age of 40. They can live 350 to 500 years. Alignment. Gnomes are most often good. Those who tend towards laws are sages, engineers, researchers, scholars, investigators, or inventors. Those who tend towards chaos are minstrels, tricksters, wanderers, or financial jewelers. Gnomes are good-hearted, and even the tricksters among them are more playful than vicious. Gnome size. Gnomes are between 3 and 4 feet tall and average about 40 pounds. Your size is small. Speed. Your base walking speed is 25. That's probably the biggest disadvantage I've seen so far for them. Dark vision. Accustomed to life underground, you have superior vision in the dark and dim conditions. You can see in dim light within 60 feet as if it were bright light, and in darkness as if it were dim light. You can't discern color in darkness, only shades of gray. Gnome cunning. You have an advantage on all intelligence, wisdom, and charisma saving throws against magic. Languages. You can speak, read, and write Common and Gnomish. The Gnomish language, which uses Dwarfish script, is renowned for its technical treatises and its catalogs of knowledge about the natural world. Subrace. The 2 subraces of gnomes are found among the world of D&D. Forest gnomes and rock gnomes. Choose one of these subraces. So let's read about the forest gnome first. As a forest gnome, you have the natural knack for illusion and inherent quickness and stealth. In the worlds of D&D, forest gnomes are rare and secretive. They gather in hidden communities in sylvan forests using illusions and trickery to conceal themselves from threats or to mask their escape should they be detected. Forest gnomes tend to be friendly with other good-spirited woodland folk, and they regard elves and good fae as their most important allies. These gnomes also befriend small forest animals and rely on them for information about threats that might prowl their lands. So you get an ability score boost. Your dexterity score increases to 1. Natural illusionist. You know the minor illusion cantrip. Intelligence is your spellcasting ability for it. Speak with small beasts. Through sounds and gestures, you can communicate simple ideas with small or smaller beasts. Forest gnomes love animals and often keep squirrels, badgers, rabbits, moles, woodpeckers, and other creatures as beloved pets. Rock gnomes. As a rock gnome, you have a natural inventiveness and hardiness beyond that of the other gnomes. Most gnomes in the world of D&D are rock gnomes, including the tinker gnomes and including the tinker gnomes of the Dragonlance setting. Your Constitution score increases by 1 if you're this rock gnome. Rock gnome. Artificer's Lore. Whenever you make an intelligence history check related to magic items, alchemy objects, or technological devices, you can add twice your proficiency bonus instead of any proficiency bonus you normally apply. Tinkerer. You have proficiency with artisan tools, tinkerer tools. Using those tools, you can spend 1 hour and 10 gold points worth of materials to construct a tiny clockwork device. AC 5 with 1 hit point. The device ceases to function after 24 hours, unless you spend 1 hour repairing it to keep the device functional, or when you use your action to dismantle it. At that time, you can reclaim the materials used to create it. You can have up to 3 such devices active at a time. When you create a device, choose one of the following options. So check it out. Your gnome's going to get these racial devices to make clock toy. This toy is a clockwork animal, monster, or person, such as a frog, mouse, bird, dragon, or soldier. When placed on the ground, the toy moves 5 feet across the ground on each of your turns in a random direction. It makes noises as appropriate to the creatures it represents. Fire starter. This device produces a miniature flame, which you can use to light a candle, torch, or campfire. Using this device requires an action. Music box. When opened, the music box plays a single song at moderate volume. The box stops playing when it reaches a song's end or when it's closed. That is about our gnome. I will say I've always been not too cool about playing shorter people. Maybe it's because I'm tall and I want to play something tall, except for that time I played a pixie, but that was a little different. I've got a different appreciation for the dwarves. I really like the gnomes. You know, I always make these darker, tormented characters, but I see where the gnome fits in really well with a few different classes. It fits in very nicely with the mage, especially going to be that forest gnome. You know, that forest gnome fits nice getting that, I'm just taking that I really like that speak with small beasts. And so when I see it as a mage, I see that being as a really great way to have a familiar, and a familiar your character is close with. Mages already share a psychic special bond, not just mages, but all casters who have a familiar or an animal companion. And so I think that it's dope that they get that racial communication as well as that bond. I see that being a lot of fun. And I think they won me over when they did the little flavor texts about the different gnomes, and what did they say about the one when they gave his little description. I liked when they were like, the front room was his workshop, and it contained bewildering miscellany of tools, hammers, chisels, saws, lockpicks, tinted lenses, jewelers' loops, and jars of powder and shredded ingredients for casting spells. And here was my favorite part. A fat gray cat, the mage's familiar, curled atop the grimoire. It opened its eyes and gave Arion a disdain yellow stare, then appeared to go back to sleep. I miss my big fat cat that I would cast with, Annie. And so that little part won me over. That I was like, all right, I like these gnomes. I like how they relate to elves. I think I like the fae. I just think that I like the fae, which when I played a pixie, it was a fae creature too. I like to be an infernal and go with the demons and shit, but I really like what the Fey world has to offer, which, the Fey world should be huge. It's such a big cornerstone of D&D. I've been rambling on and on, and I can make a video of rambling. I've read the page that I want to. Love you guys. Thank you for listening. Please share my videos. Please give me likes. You can give feedback. I'm doing this just on my phone, so the production sucks. Maybe one day I'll have like a green screen and it'll still suck, but then there'll be like fucking a Death Star behind me or something. All right, guys, I'll catch you later. Peace.